This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I am live for the official Reflections video. Mama Lou in the building. First one on the chat, Counterpunch Boxing. Counterpunch Boxing to you, Mama Lou. Good evening, Kurt, or should I say good afternoon? All in the same, man. All in the same. You know, I thought about yesterday's fight and had time to draw some conclusions about it, you know. We know the rumor that's lurking about with Chris Eubank Jr. that he's still in the hospital. Now, supposedly, he has a broken jaw, so we got that going. And others say it's a rehydration, which that probably is the reason. I'm not sure. But then again, you know, Chris Eubank, if his jaw was broken, it wouldn't be unbelievable because, I mean, he took some shots from Conor, you know. And Conor, you know, showed people that, hey, he wasn't a fraud, because that was the whole thing. You know, Conor was supposed to be this big fraud. Conor was supposed to be a cheat, which, yeah, safe to say that, you know, pragmatically, yeah, you were a cheater. You cheated, right? So, that being said, it is what it is. But Conor proved a point. I don't know if he realized that or not. You know, because a lot of people tried to overlook that. All right, so we are back. All right, there we go. I accidentally hit the airplane mode on my phone. Okay, all right, let's see here. Alvanese. Hello there. Mini Dad, hello. I'm great, Alvanese. Milesberry, talk about Mike the Bounty Hunter. Mike the Bounty Hunter, you know, he should be fighting pretty soon. In fact, I hollered at him the other day. I think he came on the live stream maybe yesterday, I think. But I could be wrong, because it wasn't confirmed. Let's get Mike a title shot. Miles Bailey, I agree. You know, I want him, I want Mike to start fighting guys before he gets past his peak, if he's not already past it. That's the whole thing. Michael Hunter may be past that point. We just don't know. I didn't like that exhibition, even though it was an exhibition. He got paid for it, so good for him. But, you know, exhibitions are exhibitions. You know, look at Jake Paul. He's knocking people out in exhibitions, right? Conor Benn, Braveheart. Yeah, he didn't go down. He didn't fold. He didn't bitch up. You know, because it was pride, hatred. A lot of things fueled that fight between those two guys. You know, take a look at Chris Eubank Jr. Chris Eubank Jr. wasn't in the best of health. Let's just call it a buck. He wasn't he wasn't in that type of spirit. He wasn't in that type of condition to really do what probably he could have done, but he did it anyway. Conor Benn was fighting a bigger dude. Conor fought with a lot of different spirits, man. This dude fought with, like, Conor Benn fought with, like, hatred, pride, legacy. He fought with a lot of different things. The champ from Ukraine, Miles Bailey. Eubank Sr. is very intelligent. Is it me or is Kurt buffering a lot? Much love, Kurt. I had to shut YouTube down and restart. Ah, okay, gotcha. It pretty much did the same. Was you impressed with McKenna and is really the most avoided middleweight? I was impressed with McKenna's footwork, speed, boxing ability, power. No. The only thing I do question is, can he take a punch from a stronger fighter? Can he take a shot from like a Chris Eubank? Is John Jones the best fighter on earth? No. I now have respect. Well, you know what? UFC, yeah, probably pretty much now. I now have respect for Benn. He's much better than I'd previously thought. He could go on and do things at 147. Well, I think a fight between him and Chris Eubank, a rematch, you have to consider what the stipulations would be. Because, see, now if they fought, Chris would probably want to do things his way, even though he was the first name on the card. He was the A side. He was the A side, so it is what it is. Jones is ducking Aspinall. Usyk versus Dubois 2. Usyk versus Dubois 2. I'm not really impressed about it. I mean, it just shows you what may or may not been already brewing before Danny Dubois pulled out of the Parker fight. So I'm just going to keep it real. Kurt, McKenna versus Sharan. Well, it depends on what Sharan can do with Belanga. That's pretty much that. You should talk about fake news. Eubank Jr. has not break jaw. You should not talk about fake news? I wasn't talking about fake news. The problem is, if you guys actually look at the video instead of the fucking title, you would know what I talked about in the video. The title represents the video. But understand, that was you had to understand my counterpunch of that. There was rumors that Chris Eubank Jr.'s jaw was broken. Now, looking at Chris Eubank yesterday, did he appear to have a broken jaw? Who knows? Because he was battered up too. He took a lot of shots, just like Conor took a lot of shots. The Conor Eubank fight was somehow even better than the build-up. It was perfect all around. A total war. Jay, it is. Curtis Mall, appreciate you, brother. Who wins, Garcia or Haney, if they go at it again? Conor went to the hospital too. Okay. Yeah, they didn't talk about that part. Conor is the best. Okay, CE. Starlin, what's up? Counterpunch to you. Who else we got on here? Oh, but back to Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. Ryan Garcia, he has to beat Devin Haney. But he has to do it the same way he did it before. If he doesn't, people are going to just call him a cheat. What baffles me is how some people get passes and some people don't. That's what baffles me. It's like this, okay. Canelo Alvarez can pop dirty in 2018. Now no one never talks about it, right? Whereas Jarrell Miller tested positive, and that's all everyone ever talks about. To this day, he's the poster child of it. And I'm not defending Miller. I think what Miller did was bullshit. Especially, I think it was malicious. I think Jarrell Miller thought, I can pass these damn drug tests because I've done it more than once. He had to know. But if you're going to persecute him, you got to persecute everybody. That's all I'm saying. Ibitsky, what up? Um, Greetings from Germany, Kamal Asken. Counterpunch to you, Kamal, or Kemal. Mr. Bamboye. Chris all the way. Curtis Mall. Chris and Conor both have good chins, just like their fathers. Okay. Okay, I could buy that. I mean, they did show durability, and none of them fell. You know? Keep in mind, though, Conor been through shots that I think if they would have landed early, Chris might have been on the ground. Chris got buckled a few times in that fight. Oh, yes, he did. He got caught with shots, you know, especially exchanging shots. So don't say little men can't crack, or don't say fighters just because they're in a lower weight class can't get in that ass of yours just because you feel you're so much bigger. It has nothing to do with it. It has everything to do with the way he hits you, how he hits you, the technique, okay? If there's actually truly innate power within Conor Benn, which I think it is. It's just so happened that Conor Benn looked shitty on his last couple performances. Because if I'm Conor Benn and guys like Chris Algieri saying that, you know, I should be banned for life and stuff like that, you know what? I would call them out. I'll be like, Chris Algieri, you guys saying that I'm a cheater, and you guys saying that I cheated you and I couldn't do it naturally. Fine, give me another shot and I'm gonna tax that ass. That's what I would do if I'm Conor Benn. I would fight all the guys that said that about me that I knocked out previously. That's exactly what I would do. The double standard in boxing is what turns some people off to the sport. That's true. Star Leon, that's true. I don't know why everybody sucks on Chris. He agreed to fight with the conditions and agreements. He came too heavy and struggled. He could make a diet during preparation. He got busted and wobbled. That might have had something to do with it, but the thing is, he got punched. He got punched. Wayne Maddock. His Excellency is changing the sport for the better. The productions will only get bigger. Counterpunch to you. Biscuit, not really, man. I used to follow UFC. I don't do it anymore. I just don't. You know, I'm too busy counterpunch boxing, you know, to really be following. I mean, I see some fights, highlights. Don't get me wrong. Coming from a martial arts background as myself, from Taekwondo to Tai Kempo to Muay Thai to Goatee, I respect the game. I respect UFC. I respect what they do because I know what they do, because I've trained what they do. Okay? I've trained, I've sparred, you know what I mean? I've done it all. But the whole thing is, boxing is my first love, you know? So, it is what it is. Thank you, Star Leon. Canelo versus Crawford, any update? William 273. I have not heard an update about Canelo versus Crawford. Maybe after the Skull fight, we may hear other things concerning Canelo versus Crawford. Okay? Mike Tyson versus Trevor Burbank. This was a banger. It was. I'm curious to see how McCauley on Saturday after the Parker fight. I am too. I can't wait to see Effie Ajagba versus Martin McCauley. Simply based off, you know, people are looking at that fight like Effie's this big, like, underdog, and like they're overlooking Effie Ajagba, and I'm wondering why. People forget this dude. Yeah, he got beat by Frank Sanchez. Frank Sanchez has hundreds of amateur fights. Frank Sanchez, any Cuban fighter has hundreds of amateur fights. That's before or after they defected. I mean, really before, because they couldn't do anything else but compete in amateurs. You know what I'm saying? Get you some rum and some, some pollo. Some ron cube and some pollo. Watch your stuff all time. Yo, watch your stuff all the time, man. Stuart Hudson, appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. Texas Red, I'm curious to see. Okay, we already got that one. Hey, bro, have you heard of the Canadian fighter knocking everyone out, Dixon Myers? I have not. Dixon Myers. I have not heard of him. Send me some stuff on him. You guys, feel free to inbox me on Instagram. I'm not shy. I'm not one of those guys that look at your shit and don't reply back. I'm going to give you a reply. I'm going to check out the things that you have, especially with new blood, new talent. What's up with the rumored broken jaw? Now, here's the thing. The rumored broken jaw, according to Chris Eubank, like I said in the video, that they're denying it. I said that in the video. It would be different if I made a video, hey, he got a jaw broke. Uh-oh. No. Hey, has his jaw broke? They're denying it. But why is he still in there? That's the question. You guys tell me. That's what the video was about. Much, much more detail. The hospital and what he had to do. Stuff like that. Boxing Wing Chun, 52 blocks. And BJJ right here. Curtis Maul, counterpunch to you. I heard that. Yes, of course, good train. Different arts. I feel like everybody should do some wrestling, Muay Thai. Yeah, I think so too. One thing I do admire about Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford is also a badass wrestler, bro. That dude can wrestle. And that guy, look, here's the thing. A guy like Terrence Crawford, you probably would be making a mistake running up on him. I don't think you would want to street fight Terrence Crawford. Ajagba has good skill set, underrated. Yeah, and he has good punching power too. So, Efe Ajagba's not a pushover. What broke my heart, was it last year or the year before? Where it was early in the year though, where Efe Ajagba was supposed to fight Oscar Rivas, and then they canceled it. I was like, crazy stuff, man. Hopefully his brain is okay from the dehydration. Hopefully. Kirk the ass kicker to Bill. Skrilla 50 in the building, and that's real. Bars. Quan Big Guns, what's up, Kurt? Was a good fight yesterday, better than I expected. Happy drug cheat didn't win. Well, here's the thing, though. Drug cheat or not, he chose he can fight. He showed his worth. See, my thing about drug cheats, he was like, once a cheat, always a cheat. No, that's not fucking true. I don't believe that at all. You know what I mean? That's like every time you take a test, if you get cheated once on the test, you're always a cheater. No, you're not. You're going to have to take that test like everyone else. It's just you won't have a cheat sheet. You won't be able to cheat. Why doesn't Eubank fight American fighters? Because there are none. Shit. There are no American fighters. What middleweight fighter do you know that's American? Name some to me. Please. Enlighten me. Explains why Bud is so good in the clinch. Yeah. Bud, look, you can't handle Bud in a clinch. Because I remember a physical fight he was in. It wasn't the Errol Spence fight at all. That was a one-sided ass beating. But a physical fight that he was in was against Sean Porter. Sean Porter's a physically strong brother. He used to be a football player. You can tell the way, his pressure style. You could tell, damn dude, are you going to punch me or tackle me? He's going to do both. He's going to punch you and tackle you. He's going to run you right over. And Terrence, Terrence stayed in the clinch with him, you know what I mean? But showed him, like, look, you can't handle me like you think you can or like you're trying to do. And Terrence grabbed him, and then Terrence spun him around. You know what I mean? A lot of times in those clinches, because, you know, Sean Porter, he's coming at you, throwing shots. You know what I mean? And he's pressuring you. And honestly, a lot of Sean Porter's aggressiveness is smothering his progress. That was one thing that people didn't understand. If he kind of just came in and then came out, you know what I mean? Which at times he was successful, but most of the time Porter was right so close to you that he couldn't hit you harder with shots because he's too close. The proximity's too close to get leverage on them suckers. Oh, but he's punching you, you know. Creed like F. When I cried like F when I saw Chris Sr. turn up. That was special. Don't care if it was planned. The effect was iconic. Will Joshua Ism. Chris Eubank Jr. said, I didn't know if he was coming. So he didn't really know. You know what I mean? But he did tell people I would want my dad there. He didn't say I don't want him there. His dad said, I don't like how the shit's set up. I don't like this rehydration shit. He even said it. This is what Chris Eubank Jr. said. And if you're going to tell it all. And this is the thing I want people to understand. Chris Eubank Sr. said this. He said, listen, as far as my son goes and him trying to make weight, he was like, what are you guys doing? He said he went to Conor. He said he went to Nigel. And he was like, listen, I don't want my son coming in at no damn 157 pounds. Now, this was the first time. Keep in mind, this was the first time. So he was like, listen, if it's a stipulation, I'll pay that. But just let my son come in at the weight that, you know, that you guys are agreeing to fight at, not this weight here, because it's not safe. It's not safe at all. And keep in mind, you're coming from two guys, Nigel and Chris Eubank Sr., that are experienced with permanently crippling people in life-changing fights. Keep that in mind. Those guys have been involved in altercations with fighters that resulted in those fighters to be carried out of the ring on a stretcher, sent to the hospital, never to recover again. So Chris really takes that seriously, man. I mean, you know, I forget his name now, but he'll never be the same. I mean, he's alive, but I mean, he's crippled, you know? Reluctant Gamer, Eubank, great fight, done England proud, the lads. Fook Noose, absolutely. Right Pro, facts. Ben showed his worth last night. He did. I don't think he gets enough credit, and I think the best thing for someone like that in the mindset that Conor's in, Conor might be in a dark place. You know what I mean? Because doing what your dad did and what your dad did, sure, it was popular. It gave Chris Eubank Sr. a dancing partner with someone that was equally tough, oppositely popular. You know, it's either you like Eubank Sr. or you like Benn. You were either Team Benn or Senior. It was like Pacquiao, it was like Mayweather. You're going to either like one or the other. You can't like both. You got to pick one or the other. That's how it was. And Chris Eubank Sr. beat Conor Benn. Okay. And I'm just looking at okay. So let's do this. Okay. So Michael Watson was his name. You know what I mean? And he this is the crazy thing. Michael Watson was beating Chris Eubank Jr. He fought him twice. So yeah, Michael Watson's never the same. Okay. So the first fight was in 1990. He beat Nigel Benn. Okay, TKO in the ninth. Then he fights him again, Nigel Benn, and believes it was a draw. Yeah. But a lot of people thought Nigel Benn won. And see, what people don't understand, the same history repeats itself. So if I'm Conor, I would be gunning. Look, I would be gunning for a rematch, because if you have to think about, it's more than just one fight, especially when you're fighting someone like a Eubank. The Nigels and the Eubanks are known now to go to war with each other. They bring the best or the worst out of each other, regardless of how you slice it or dice it, right? And if you slice it and dice it that way, you'll understand that it takes more than one fight to make a legacy. See, Conor knows his only loss. That's a tattooed stripe on him right there. That's a thorn in his side now. It's a thorn in his side. So he knows, bro, he's gonna have to get some get back. Now the problem is the size. Where are they gonna come in at? Will it come in with the same bullshit? Because one thing I noticed about Conor, everybody talked about how Chris could gas out. Chris is dehydrated. Chris is not at the proper weight. He never had to deal with a rehydration issue or deal like that before, right? Well, we all talked about that, but we never really considered, what if Conor Benn actually gets tired? The real mulatto, counterpunch to you. Nigel Benn more related to people as one of the lads. Well, yeah, there are two different people. You know, Chris Eubank Sr., you know, he was a proper lad. He was a proper mate, right? So we all knew that. But I'm going to tell you something. I want you guys to understand me. That rivalries come from different perspective in people's opinion. Who do you gravitate to? Who do you relate more to? Let's give you an example. Why Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank Sr. was so popular. Because like you said, they were one of the lads. They looked at Nigel Benn like, hey, he is one of the lads. He's one of us. Whereas Chris Eubank represented that kind of swanky, popular, upper middle class or upper social class, and I only do this because you guys know how it is in the UK, or how it was in the UK anyway. You know, it's a class system. So it's how much class do you have? And that class you have based on how you deal with people, based on how you carry yourself, based on how you conduct yourself. You know? So that, you know, it's a class system. You guys know that. So it's basically, who do you relate to? You know? So where are you from? You know, are you from Sheffield, or, you know, or are you from the ghetto? You know? He's more of an English gentleman, yeah. Nigel was the face. Eubank Sr. was the heel. Just like Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier. Look at that, another rivalry. They fought 3 times, damn near killed each other. You know, and in fact, they might have permanently done things to themselves that ultimately caused them to get out of here a lot earlier than they supposed to. Joe Frazier died of, I think it was kidney or liver cancer. And that might be due to drinking like a fish after those crazy fights that you dealt with. That probably caused a lot of, you know, post-traumatic stress, which they didn't have that back then for boxers, right? That caused him to drink or caused him to become an alcoholic and live a lifestyle that he shouldn't have lived. Well, saying that, versus Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali was a different person. If you were from the Nation of Islam and you dealt and you gravitated to that side, that's who you're gonna follow. More than likely, if you was a uptown soul brother from Chicago, you're gonna follow Joe Frazier. So you had a divide, bro. But a divide gives you a side to pick. Just like Eubank, just like Benn, just like Muhammad Ali, just like Joe Frazier. I think Eubank was dehydrated versus Liam Smith the first time. That's why Liam was able to hurt him so easy. Maybe, maybe. You know, but it just shows you that maybe Chris, if he's going to continue boxing, I think he needs to make that move back up to 168 because he can't handle that weight no more. Like I've been telling you guys, man, and I want you guys to listen to me, and I'm going to say it again. These fighters should honestly fight how they are built or how they walk around. You shouldn't be any more than 10 to 15 pounds from your walk around weight versus your fighting weight. You should never go to 20, 30 pounds losing weight when you're fighting at 130, but you're walking around at 180. That makes no sense. None. That's how fighters end up hurt, dead, stroke. That's what happens. That's what happens. What about Usyk? What about Usyk? What about him? But best heavyweight at the moment. Alexander Usyk is the champion. The weird thing is he the best? He's considered the best because he's considered to beat the best. Usyk is the best heavyweight until someone can prove him otherwise. That's why I don't want rematches. I want the next fresh challenge. And see, when he puts and takes Daniel Dubois to school, when he beats Daniel Dubois, mark my words, I'm going to say it now before it even happens. I'm going to tell you guys, I told you so. I told you so. Everybody, oh, Daniel's getting better. Okay. So for the people that believe that, I hope you're right. Because if not, we're just watching this shit in vain. And we're wasting time when Usyk should be fighting someone else. You know? That's why I didn't like this whole pulling out of that Parker shit, because we don't know if Parker would have beat him or not. That's the problem. You know? So, anyway, back to Benn and Eubank. Great start of a rivalry. I think they should fight again. The only problem is, not only is Chris bigger, but Chris is older. So how long do you think Chris Eubank Jr. is going to have the ability to fight like he fought last night? That's a question. That's another question. See, Eubank is only, what, 28 years? I mean, Benn is only 28 years. Conor's only 28 years old. In 2 years, when Conor's 30, and he's grown a lot more, he may get bigger. You know? Don't put it past Eddie, because you know this. You know the payout's going to be sick. You know people are going to want to watch that shit. It don't matter how. And Chris Jr.'s going to be 37. He's 35 now. So he'll be 37 years old, pushing 38 in 2 years. I'm just giving you an example. So in 2 years, people are going to ask for they're probably already asking for it. A lot of people are saying it. Tony Bellew, Carl Froch, a lot of people are now talking. They want to see rematches. They want to see rematches between these two iconic fighters that prolong and continue the legacy from their fathers, and did a damn good job doing it too. That's why everybody's loving it, because people are knowing that the names, the event, the build-up, and the fight are all coming in sync, and they're all top tier. You know what I mean? This isn't a Trinidad versus De La Hoya fight of the millennium. Bullshit. It wasn't no fight of the millennium. De La Hoya decided to box where he should have fought Trinidad. It would have been a better fight. And they never fought again. It was garbage. 100% hot garbage, people. That's one of those things where you expect more that you don't get. Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao. Only fought once. Stinker. Paid $100 to see a bunch of bullshit. Basically an exhibition almost. Pacquiao trying to chase down Mayweather. Mayweather's pot shotting and moving too much. Shit like that. You know? But it didn't add up to the fight, didn't add up to the buildup. The names were bigger than the actual entertainment in the fight itself. But these guys, no, they've done it all. They've checked all the boxes, right? So yeah, they're gonna want another fight. But the thing is, when? Will it still have these bullshits? You know, more than likely, yeah. Because they're gonna want Chris to come in. Well, you've made it before, mate. Why don't you make it again? We'll offer you 15 million this time, and both of you guys can make 15 million. Now imagine that. You think Chris ain't gonna take 15 million? Yes, he will. He'll do it for the money. But will it be fair to him? No. But did he accept it? Yes. It's like this, man. It's like back when, remember when Deontay Wilder was gonna fight AJ and he agreed to that damn money, he agreed to terms, then turned around and said he didn't agree to terms? If you guys can remember that. And then Eddie was like, well, dude, you signed a contract to fight. I mean, this is the same thing. This is no different. This is no different. Any future generation Eubanks and Benn have the bar set high for them if they fight each other. That's true. It's not safe to do it again. No, it's not safe, but it's being demanded already. It don't matter if it's safe or not. Boxing ain't safe. What do you mean? It's not a safe sport. Shit. Like, look at Billy Joe Saunders. Billy Joe Saunders looking like Santa Claus, right? Looking like Santa Claus. Went in there and got his damn orbital bone broken against Canelo. Fucked around and found out. Didn't he? Just keeping it real, man. Boxing ain't safe. It ain't safe. Nobody cares about safe. If boxing was safe, people wouldn't watch it. Yeah, and people love seeing it. You're right. DJ, you're right. God damn it, you're right. Promoter only winners, they play with fighters' career. They mix and match fighters' career, their health, you know. Yeah, and they are the winners. You know, the promoters kind of reminds me of the house within casinos. The house wins. Therefore, the promoters win. Because they don't have to take one fucking punch. And they're getting 10, 15% or something like that. 20%. I don't know how much it is now. Yeah, but see, they want the same conditions or whatever. Getting a jaw broke or eye socket is okay, but being dehydrated and having a dry brain rattling around is bad for long term. Yeah, that's true. A lot of people haven't took that under advisement. They haven't considered that. But hey, listen, it's true. Because the one thing, you know, the first thing you drink is going to go right to your brain. It's going to go right to your brain first, whatever that is. Water, beer, Kool-Aid, soda, anything is going to your brain, you know. And you guys remember Chris Eubank Sr. was pissed off a couple years ago. You remember he came there sounding all, you know, he all talks like, we must keep a proper etiquette because you must be a gentleman at all times. He went from that shit to, you tried to murder my boy, and I'm coming to get you. I'm like, damn. Chris Eubank Jr. turned into a serial killer. His whole voice changed. You guys remember that? You guys remember Eubank Sr. fucking just blowing up? You tried to murder my boy. I say, oh, fuck. Who's this nut? You know. That is why boxing deaths have occurred at the lower weight classes. Yeah, dehydration. You know, the first UFC death was like that because of, you know, trying to cut weight. And you guys notice Eubank came in at 160.02. He came in at 160.02. And then he tried to lose weight, and he came in at 160.05, right? So That's what it's about, man. He couldn't lose anymore. If he would have probably lost more weight, he probably would have collapsed and went into a coma. So yeah, it's not safe. Chris Eubank Sr. Cracks me up with the... Yeah, man, he does, man. And you notice he's got his teeth fixed, so he loves the, you know, because I don't think he could do that before. Because I think he had he had some caveman teeth at first. Look back at it, Chris Eubank Sr.'s older pictures. You can see he kind of had little bumps there. Now his shit's all straight across. Oh yeah. Like Dadashev versus Matthias. Yeah, man, Dadashev. Yeah, see, Dadashev died. Then Patrick Day died. And it was two more. One guy died in sparring, got hit in the stomach. Fucking death year of death. But it happens all the time, man. It happens all the time. And we had the young Nigerian fighter that just passed away. And it's crazy, man. This is a dangerous sport. Chris, if he's doing it for legacy and he's not doing it for money, he shouldn't fight Conor again under those stipulations. If Conor wants to fight him, fine. Let Conor come in at 155 or whatever weight he wants to, because it seems like that's what it was about anyway. But allow Chris Eubank to come in without the rehydration shit. He would be fine. You know, but I honestly think he's to the age that he can't lose. He can't make 160 anyway. So they're going to probably have to make that maybe 162 with no rehydration. Since he was the winner in the A side anyway, he was the first name on the bill. That's exactly what they should do. They should have that particular fight. They should have that particular stipulations, 162. Then, you know, no rehydration. But Conor gassed out yesterday. See, people are not talking about that. We didn't talk about that before. We talked about Chris Eubank Jr. gassing out because he don't have anything. You know, he's dehydrated. He's gonna get tired quicker. But Conor swinging like a maniac, trying to knock out Chris Eubank Jr., being all high strung, being all over anxious. He gets tired. And you could tell when he got tired, about 6 or 7 rounds. You know, and he was just responding. He wasn't even really initiating attack. Chris Eubank was peppering him with that jab, and he was starting to really put those punches together. That jab, 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 right hand, left hook, jab, right hand, left uppercut, jab to the body, right uppercut. Beautiful combinations Chris was doing, you know? And then it got to the round like 8 or 9, we found out that both of these guys are done. They both shot their wads, bro. They were done. Chris Eubank and his dad was one of the hardest ring walks ever. Still, Dre music blasting. Eubank Sr. was right all times. It's not safe. The man, Barry, buried his 31-year-old son in Dubai. Yeah, sad, man. You know, had a heart attack or some shit like that. You know, I mean, 31 years of age, man, you're too young to be having heart attacks. And if it's in Dubai, so, you know, I don't want to say nothing that I don't know about. I'm just saying, 31 years old is 31 having a heart attack. And I think about my crazy ass lifestyle, especially at 31 years of age. And I'm still here by the grace of God, you know. But, you know, whatever, dude. Sebastian. Yeah, his name is Sebastian. Hen was missing with all his so-called big swings. That's draining. Yeah. And he missed a lot of those big, man, he's trying to throw those big punches. And the way he was swinging to knock out Chris. That's what he wanted to knock out Chris Eubank. And if he would have caught him with them shots, bro, you know, that would have happened. Oh, yeah. It could pay a toll on Conor going up weights and coming back down. It could be. I mean, but at what point, though? Think about it. He didn't have to make 147. He came in at 156.04. Okay, so 156 pounds. 156 pounds to 147 is what? 9 pounds? So he was 9 pounds heavier on the weigh-in date than he normally is. Now, the question is, how much weight would he have got back when he does make 147? That's the question you ask yourself. And then we should take those two weights and subtract them from each other. A normal making weight at 147 and what his weight is after rehydration, and then what his weight was after rehydration from 156, if there were any rehydration, because he probably came in the same amount of weight that he would make anyway. Because at 147, you make 147, you rehydrate, he's probably going to be 154, 155. Well, fine, he was 156. So if he was around the same weight, he just had to make a later weight. That's nobody's fault but his own. That meant it wasn't rehydration. That meant it wasn't anything that he had to worry about as far as the difference in weight and what he had to carry, right? He just knew he wasn't going to make 160. You see what I'm saying? And since he knew and figured, hey, I don't have to make 160, I could come in at any weight I want. But he got tired. Now, I'm gonna throw this in here, people. I just want you to think. Was it him getting tired? Did it have anything to do with the lack? I want you guys to listen to me. The lack of what he wasn't on. Think about it. Did Conor get tired because naturally he has issues with stamina? I know a lot of people are not going to like this, but hey, I got to keep it real, right? Maybe Conor he was swinging big, missing big, swinging hard, missing big. But was it because Benn was no longer on the juice? I'm just asking a question. Think about it. I'm just asking a question because he got tired, bro, around 6 or 7 rounds. He was tired. You could tell. I'm like, damn, wait a minute. He's tired. I know he hurt. He buckled Chris, and then this is a total natural negative tested Conor Benn. So this is a Conor Benn at his most honest form. Okay? This is Conor Benn in his most honest form. Was it because he was lacking the clomiphene? Now, I gave him his flowers. Hey, he can hurt Chris. He can still fight. He's not a fraud. I did not say that. I never said that. That's what Chris Eubank was saying. So he showed Chris Eubank, I'm no fraud, buddy. I'm no fraud, you mug. I can fight. It's in my blood. You know what I mean? And I'm going to show you. And he showed Chris. We caught him with that left hook. Actually, they traded left hooks. And Conor's landed a lot harder than Chris's landed. However, give Conor credit. Conor has a good chin, too. Any other person, bro, Liam Smith, every damn person, pretty much, that he fought. How is this? Great. Any other person that he fought would have probably took a Colin Kaepernick. They would have gave up a drop or got dropped. Conor said, I ain't going nowhere. And he was taking shots too, bro. Now, you can't ask for if he had 10 more seconds. No, I mean, the fight happened how it was going to happen. Those dudes fought their ass off. Both of them. You know what I mean? To the point, it was like, dude, what y'all, like, the way they were fighting reminded you of what their dads did but what they're showing their dads they could do. If that makes sense. It's a one and done fight, champ. Well, if it's a one and done fight, it was one hell of a one and done. Bill Keaveney in the building. Hey, Bill, what did you think about McKenna? What did you think about Aaron McKenna? Adrian Eubank hadn't got the power to stop Hen. Let's be real. You could say that. That's fair to say. He couldn't stop him because he was rehydrated. Okay. You know, Chris ain't going to say that. You know why? Because Chris thought where he was at was enough to beat Benn. And he said, I didn't think anybody could bring it out of me like, and I didn't think it was going to be him. I didn't think he had that in him, you know. But then again, he never had to show it, but he showed me. I mean, that's real respect. He didn't have to hug him and do all that fake shit. And one thing I did respect, because they didn't do that. You know why? Because they generally, naturally do not like each other. They don't. They don't like each other. They're not friends. They said that shit before. How many times when you hear someone say, man, I ain't shaking your hand after this. I ain't shaking your hand. I'm not talking to you. I'm not doing this. And then after the fight's over, yeah, man, you did a good job, man. You know what I mean? Then they have a bromance moment and then they go on about the business. How many times have we saw that? Conor had nice head movement in those punches. I wonder, is he back on the eggs? No. But I would tell you that would destroy his legacy altogether. If Conor tested positive again, no. It's over for him. I don't think people would want to hear from him, see from him, hear about him. They wouldn't. Again. And then Chris still won, being rehydrated. Yeah, no. Being damn near dehydrated. Kurt, would it be wise for Benn to drop down to 47 and fight for a title shot? I don't think it would hurt him. I mean, it's not like he didn't have to make 160. He didn't really do what Kell Brook did. Kell Brook went from 147 when he was the IBF and went to 160 to fight Gennady Golovkin at middleweight. Conor made his own weight. He didn't make the 160-pound weight. He didn't do it. And since he didn't do it, it wasn't stress on him to gain all that weight, to make that weight, to establish your body. Hey, body, I'm going to make and manipulate you into making this weight now that you've never done before. He didn't have to do that. He came in at 156, right? So 156 pounds. It ain't that big of a difference, bro. Conor Benn had the horse hair gloves on, too. What do you think, Prime Kimbo Slice versus Mike Tyson? Mike would beat Kimbo. I mean, in boxing, Mike would destroy Kimbo. Kimbo is tough. Kimbo's big. Kimbo's a lot taller. He's bigger. Kimbo Slice is my height, or was my height, because he's dead. But he was a big dude. He's a big, solid cat. Mike, shorter, quicker, better conditioned. You know, the instep, the outstep. Bro, no. Mike would have destroyed Kimbo. Kimbo had Mike Tyson-esque moves, but he wasn't Mike Tyson. Understand that. He wasn't Mike Tyson. Kurt, did you notice Eubank punch resistance has gone down extremely? He is for the picking, to be honest, at championship level. Maybe the next fight he has, he'll probably get knocked out. You imagine someone like Chris Eubank Jr. taking on someone like Janabek or someone like Erislandy Lara. Yeah. And it would be a good fight because, you know, Chris has a way of putting punches together. He likes throwing massive amounts of he loves the pressure that he puts on his opponents with the pressure. He's not going to be able to do that shit with Lara. He's not going to be able to pin Lara down. He's going to run right into some shit that he ain't expecting. Because Lara knows how to knock you out now. Lara don't move no more. He can't. He's too old. Now he has to sit there and you know, and plant his feet and set up them shots and get you the hell out of there because he can't outrun you no more. He can't outcircle you. He can't outbox you no more. He doesn't have the weight. He doesn't have the legs. He's gonna have to. That caused him to set down. He will, bro. Chris Eubank Jr. would get knocked out by Erislandy Lara. Probably Janabek too. So you got a point there. I'm agreeing with you. But with Conor, no. Conor Benn is an animal to fight. He took a middleweight shots and came through them. I'm pretty sure he can make 147. Shot at his easy and win world championship 147. I think Conor should get the WBC belt and Eubank get his title shot, and if they come back as champions, it will make one hell of a rematch that would be big. I mean, it's big anyway now, because see, now they've set an expectation of each other. So now we got something to gauge it on. What do we have to compare it to? The last time they fought. So if they do fight again, we're going to only compare it to the last one at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Hen owes $2 million to the hatchery for eggs. Hearn said that Eubank Sr. was unstable mentally because the man talked truth. Oh yeah, Eddie got mad at him and probably said we're gonna send him papers, which he may do. It's just Eddie doesn't talk about what he's done. Eddie just does some shit. You know, you'll hear Eddie talk about 1,000 different things, but some things like, oh, and we're gonna sue him. Okay. McKenna was the star, buddy. Won every round. Huh? The only reason why both kept going was over their daddy's legacy and not wanting to tarnish that by getting knocked out or stopped. David B, that had a lot to deal with it. It did. Nobody wants to get beat up in front of their dad. Man, here's my thing. I would hate to get beat up in front of my girl. Somebody you're with, your significant other. Imagine that shit. And then, you know, they got oh God, oh. Timothy Bradley got hit by Ruslan Pravandakov. He got hit so hard. Ruslan hit him so hard that, you know, look, Timothy Bradley fell. And he fell basically, and I don't see how the ref didn't catch that. Because, I mean, he was so dazed and buzzed and concussed that he couldn't even get up. You know what I'm saying? He was struggling to get up. He wanted the ref to help him. I think the ref helped him. Because it's supposed to have been a slip or some shit like that. Conor could beat Haney. Yeah, but let me tell you something about Haney, though. Haney's going to be a bit bigger, and it's going to be harder for him going up in weight. Because now he's dealing with people that can punch. You know, imagine Haney fighting someone like Stanionis. Right? Everyone was about Benn versus Eubank. I was interested in McKenna. Okay, Bill. You should be. Not every big fight needs belts. Conor gives anyone his size problems. I want to see Conor Benn fight Ryan Garcia. That's what I want to see, me personally. Because, you know, they got into it in the Ring Awards, the Ring Magazine Awards. And Conor, you know, kind of grabbed him because Conor grabbed him. And, you know, they were going to fight. Yeah. They don't like each other at all. And I would like to see Conor Benn knock out someone like Ryan. It would be good for the sport. Because Ryan, you know, he again, another fighter that been promoted very successfully by Golden Boy. And then they have everything bad to say about Golden Boy. You know? Like, what the hell did Golden Boy do to you guys? Because Canelo he pops off the same shit. I'm like, bro, when you were with Golden Boy Promotions, you signed a contract for $365 million, breaking a record for a contract to that magnitude on a boxing platform. Billy Joe at super heavyweight. Billy Joe's gonna get knocked out. The redemption of two cheats. I think in the first few rounds, Conor wasted a lot of energy trying to take the Eubank's head off. Hence, the Wilder wide missing shots, and Conor did not work the body as much, which was a mistake too by Benn. David B. That's all it was. He forgot who he was fighting. He forgot his own style. Had Conor Benn took it easy, worked in, worked out, worked in, worked out, you know, came in, worked the body, stepped out, dipped around, slipped out, you know, dipped right or left, avoid the jab, counter with the right hand, go back to the body, repeat that process, bro. But he didn't do it because he's too busy. Come on, bro. Trying to take someone's head off. Kurt, this really shows you how hard it is to win at world level. Yard and Eubank and Conor are stuck at British level but have made good money. Well, I don't care what level it is now because, I mean, what other level is it, honestly? An American one? I live in the UK. I love how this fight brought the nation together. I believe it did, man. When they seen Chris Eubank Sr. and Jr. together, knowing what the hell's going on with Sr. and Jr., yeah, people were like, yeah, people were very, very emotionally happy on that. And I was too. When I saw it, I was pumped because I know the puzzle was complete. We have two dads and we have two sons. Body shots were definitely the key in a fight like that. Absolutely. You know, Chris Eubank, jab, jab, right hand, bow, bow, go right to that body. I would be doing that shit all night long. Why do you think McKenna was so successful against Liam? Because he was also going to the body. Nigel Benn hit the punch. Nigel Benn hit the punch meter harder than Conor, and he's in his 60s. Well, Nigel Benn's an absolute beast, though. You know, you guys know what he did to Gerald McClellan. That's when McClellan knocked him out of the ring. Boom! He gets back up, gets back in the ropes, pulls himself up, comes in there, and fucking cripples Gerald McClellan. Crazy. The media got played by the Eubanks. I don't know. I don't know if Chris knew or not. Only he could tell you that. I'm glad Eubank showed up like that. A fire under Junior. It's good. Yeah, that Benn versus McClellan fight was sad. It was, bro. And Gerald was knocking people out. Gerald knocked out fucking Julian Jackson. And Julian Jackson was known for knocking people out. So, you know, crazy. Do you think the right fighter won? I had it close, but he had Eubank winning by 2 rounds. What's your opinion? 7-5 in favor of Chris Eubank. And I'm not even sure if it was the last 2 rounds. I think it was the middle rounds where Chris Eubank started coming in and showing his boxing ability and started really peppering Conor Benn. Yeah, Nigel Benn was a monster. Nigel Benn will still knock you the fuck out right now. That's why you don't... See, here's the thing. You don't want to deal with anybody that has that type of muscle memory, that has that type of mindset, that has fixed positions by reflex, second nature. Bow! Oh, I'm sorry, mate. I thought you were coming for me. And he's gonna knock your fucking face off because he thought you did something stupid. He's already leaned and he's already attacked into your grill. Now you're looking around like a broken piano because he had a flashback. Hell no. And then see, it doesn't even, why would you want to even fight someone like that anyway? Okay, I'm 45. What the fuck I look like fighting Nigel Benn? That's just stupid. Unless he did something disrespectful, and why would he do that? You have to really look at certain things, like in certain situations, and why and how people put themselves through certain things. And you look at it, you're like, okay, well, why would you? The thing is, man, I got in a fight. Okay, why'd you get in a fight? More than likely, it's something that could have been avoided. You know, either some road rage shit or at a bar, or, you know what I mean? So, but no, I wouldn't fight Nigel Benn. I wouldn't fight Chris Eubank either. Them dudes will beat your ass. Wait, I'm not finished with you. Imagine pissing senior off. What are you mad? Are you mad, man? Listen, get away from me, for I have to defend myself, okay? Well, what you want to do? And then he get gangsta on you, and he kicking your ass, and you're like, oh shit, what's this about? No, it's no hold on, mate. No, mate, come here, mate. Oh man, if Conor fought like he did against Chris Algieri, he would have had a chance of winning. Yeah. Connor's fight should have been stopped when he put Benn down through the ropes. Yeah, it could have been. But I mean, Gerald was dangerous, bro. He was a dangerous dude. You know, it's one of those situations though, man. You live by the sword, you die by one. So the only thing is he got crippled by the sword. Chris Eubank Sr., aka the proper killer. Yeah. Yeah, man. Fucking Chris Eubank Sr. Benn and got gangsta on you. Next thing you know, you waking up. I told him, he's talking to police. I told him to stay back. He would not stay back. And I told him, I gave him fair warning. I gave him 2 warnings. How many? 2. Then he took a swag at me. Then it was lights out for him, unfortunately. I think Gerald McClellan was trained by Manny Stewart. Yeah, I think he was part of that Crunks shit up there. Them boys don't fuck around up there, man. Any news about Philip Hergovic versus Frank Sanchez? I have not heard any since they have been rumored. I need to talk to Frank. I need to talk to Frank Sanchez. Chris Eubank Sr. Troy, man, you think about it, man. Here's the funny thing. Imagine somebody as well dressed as he dresses. He's a classy cat. Beating someone's ass with a fucking 3-piece suit on. So you mean to tell me, you know, imagine the guy that's mad and motherfucker he hit me one, and then next thing I know he hit me again. I mean, I don't remember, man. I just felt little stings, man. What was he wearing, man? He looked like Donatello. Fucking suit. Wait, what? I don't have a fucking suit on. Kurt went for a fight night. Man, I'm coming soon. Maybe this year. I have to finish the Lioness season 3 first. Season 3. And then I will be on the whole run of the show. And then after that, I will be in the UK. Billy Joe is a racist. He shouldn't get any attention. get any mention. Warlords, 2 generals now go back to weights. Yeah, man, you pissing shit. You gotta understand, those guys are fighters. They did that for years. Because see, here's the thing about what people don't understand. Fights are not what people think they are. This ain't a fucking Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. That's not real life. You keep buffering. I know why. I walked away from my modem. Sound keeps going off. All right, how about now? All right, guys, can you hear me okay? Can you hear me now? Eubank Sr. is a king's man. I'm one of the king's gods. You don't want to mess with someone one of the king's gods. Okay, cool. We're good. Yeah, man. Imagine the guy. I don't know if you guys heard that, but imagine the guy explaining how he got his ass whooped and by who. Man, who was it? Man, this motherfucker looked like Donatello in a 2-piece suit with a damn turtleneck on. Oh, don't mess with Senior. No, bro, you don't want to mess with Senior. You'd be better off whooping Chris Jr. than Senior. One thing for sure, Filip Hrgovic can fight. It's going to be a war with Sanchez. Yeah, I'm rocking with Sanchez. I think it was close. A good fight with what did you think? 7-5, Eubank. Eubank Sr. is a bad man, yeah? I asked him, is he bloody mad? What do you want to do? Hey! You're out cold. I'm gonna hit you 4 times. I caught him with a jab, then a right cross, and then a left. He comes to his knee, and I finished him with a right. Then I took my Stacey Adams, and I battered him. I gave him a couple stomps. Stomps. And it was finished. He didn't have a chance. But I gave him 2. Gave him 2 warnings. He came at me. This stupid boy. Now he's in a puddle of blood. You should be safe. You should be on staff. You're hilarious. Listen, Chris Eubank Sr. I've been listening to Chris Eubank Sr. a while. If I hear him, I could get him down. And I was thinking, I'll do another YouTube channel with nothing but impersonations. They say Dudley from Street Fighter is based on Eubank Sr. Didn't know that. In that case, he needs to get paid then. Conor versus Tank would be lit. Yeah. That would be a good fight. You know what I think about Tank Davis? I think he's already peaked. I think he's peaked and he's on his way. Because, see, that Roach fight probably showed us that Tank is probably nowhere where he used to be. He's probably tapping out. He's probably, he's aging. So fighting someone that's 28 and Tank's 30, that would be a good fight, though. Him and Tank. I would love to see Conor versus Tank. You know what I mean? Those fights should happen. The only problem is those guys like Tank, and he would have a better chance of making Ryan Garcia with Oscar De La Hoya than Tank with Floyd. Roy Jones and Sr. would be a great chat. Yeah, that would be cool. Do you think Conor should change trainers? Someone to improve his boxing ability? No, he's pretty good. He's a pretty good boxer. He's a pretty good boxer. He just shouldn't go straight back. Tank's heart ain't in it anymore. Conor stops him. That would be the signature win of his career. Boots versus Benn. I was listening to a podcast last night, and they think Boots would F him up. What is your opinion? He would. Boots would beat Conor. He would beat Conor. Because one thing about Boots can also take a shot as well. I think it will be a better fight than Stanionis. I think he's a better fighter than Stanionis. I just don't think that he can punch like Stanionis, but I could be wrong. I could be dead wrong on that. Maybe it's over for Eubank. Maybe. He just made $10 million minus $500,000. Yep. Chris Eubank Jr. looked sluggish, but knew how to fight through it. Yeah, he applied the pressure on Conor. Thinking about that fight, man. Eubank Jr. looks okay. I think Andy Lee be a good for Conor or Bomac. Yeah, they would be good. I mean, he would probably want to go to Ireland before coming over here to the States. But either one is good. Great training choices. Great trainer choices. Eubank was naturally bigger. Yeah, he was. Eubank Jr. only ever went after the IBO belt. Yeah, I was wondering, like, what is that? Reports say that both went to the hospital after last night's fight. Precautions. They are saying all is clear with both, and they are apparently 2 beds down from each other. Oh, that's pretty cool. Be hitting each other on the gurney. But yeah, man, I absolutely enjoyed the fight last night. Something special to watch. And I look forward to these great fights, man. And if they fight again, we should probably expect the same shit. Andy Lee is still very fast. Yeah, that's somebody else you don't want to fuck with either. Go messing with Andy Lee and see how far you get. Andy Lee will pepper you and knock you out right where you stand. I'm just telling you. You don't want to mess with anybody like that. You don't want to mess with someone like De La Hoya. You don't want to fuck with Carl Froch. Carl Froch would beat your ass. And I'm talking to us everyday walking Joe Blow bombastic simpletons. That's who I'm talking about. And you try to pick a fight with someone like that, like Carl Froch. It won't go well. Because for one, if you try to just call yourself, I'm going to try Carl. Carl is going to react first and think later, like most of them will do. Shit, Teddy Atlas. You think Teddy Atlas, he might be 72, 70 years old. But do you think for a second that you're going to go in there fucking with Teddy? Teddy's a mean ass dude. I don't give a fuck if he's 70 something. I don't care if he's old. He's old and he's dangerous. So anybody dangerous like that, leave them alone. You see what happened to the dumb drunk kid on the airplane with Mike Tyson? Mike lost it and started beating him up and shit. Because Mike is only going to take so much shit. And if he figures this dude's fucking with me, he's going to beat you up. He's going to give you a Jason Edwards. I'm going to beat you up. Okay, Andy Lee and Carl Froch look tough. Teddy Atlas too. Yeah, you don't want to fight. You don't want to pick a fight with those dudes. Just period. You don't want to do stupid shit like that. It's almost like running up on Sugar Shane Mosley, Roy Jones Jr. Them dudes will beat you to death. Joshua versus Fury this year or not? I don't know. You could tell how weight drained Eubank was, though. But if they do a rematch, Eubank calls the shots, no hydration. Yeah, they shouldn't want anything like that. Because Conor did a good job, man. Did a damn good job. Nothing to be ashamed of. I know he's hurt because he lost. Like, fuck, my dad lost. Now I'm losing to this cocksucker. Yeah. It's a hard pill to swallow. It is. Teddy Atlas looking good in shape, too. Carl Froch still trains. Yeah, you know Carl does. Carl got a fine-ass wife. Good God, man. Anybody seen his wife? Yeah, I was. Their faces, man. She's bad though. Yeah. That's Carl Froch's wife. That's his wife. Look at that. Yeah, she's bad, bro. Big up to him. You know something crazy? Carl looks better now than he did fucking 15 years ago. Had that big ass nose and shit. He looked like a fighter, but he also looked like somebody homeless. You know? Benn was swinging for the fences too early. He was. No, he won't, Quans. He can't stand him now. I'll never bring him on my show. I'll never bring him. He's so boring. I'll never bring him on my show, man. He wants to come on the front. He always talks to this person like self in the damn third person. You want to come on to the Cobra show? You got to be fucking excited. I'm like, oh my God. Get over that. Andre Ward beat you up. You could not beat Andre Ward. He just was better, quicker, younger. I'm sorry. I mean, he just lost. Andre Ward was the #1 pound for pound fighter at one time when he was around. If you guys can remember. Carl has a beak. Yeah, he had a beak. They chiseled that shit down. That big ass knot he used to have right in the middle of his shit. Yeah. Dude, a nose changes your whole appearance. It's your nose, dude. It's in the middle of your face. Literally, the middle of your face. Froch looks like somebody you would see working in a mobile phone shop. More like his stadium fight getting trampled by AJ. Conor is known for his body work. It seemed like no game plan. Yeah, I mean, he beat Jermaine Taylor. And I cringe when I see that fight. I'm like, dude, you're better than Carl. It's just Jermaine Taylor didn't have any discipline. He had all the skill, he just didn't have discipline. So you can't go get drunk, high, or whatever you do, and then think you're gonna come in the ring, make a couple $1 million and go back and doing the same shit you've been doing. No, it's gonna eventually catch up with you, and that's exactly what happened. He gassed out in the last round, the cunt. He gassed out. I'm like, Jermaine, I'm screaming at the TV. What the fuck are you doing? Oh, he gassed out, bro. And Carl lit him up because Carl knew he ain't got nothing left. Let me take that from him. Let me take what I think he has left. And that's what Carl did. Briggs is a real Brooklynite. He is. Let's go, champ. Let's go, champ. Yeah. But yeah, guys, this reflection video has been good. Great night of boxing. We got to do it again real soon. Coming next week, right? Don't we got to fight next week? Okay, we're going live next week. You know, stay tuned for more boxing news. 5 and Alive every day this week, including Saturday. So it will be lit. So you guys tell me what you think about this particular live stream. Love you guys. Be blessed. Be safe. And we will see you Monday with some more Counterpunch boxing news. Peace.